We're at 4th and Stewart, headed toward the Mob Museum. We're in the Mob Museum parking lot, and the charge for parking is $3. Well, here's one poor guy who came in to park his car. Ah, there is one space left.
Oh, yeah.
As somebody's leaving. Well, we see the hop-on, hop-off bus is making a stop at the Mob Museum. When it's crowded, they have the Disneyland approach to controlling the lines going up to the ticket office. The museum begins on the 3rd floor, so up the elevator we go. One of the first activities at the museum is a lineup, and there they are, the guests. And we have movies.
America is a land of opportunity, but also of competition.
We saw a very good movie about the beginning of the mob, and now we're moving into the mob coming to the west. This is clever. This is a table with various screens, and it talks about Las Vegas history.
Moran's men were baited to a warehouse in Lincoln Park with a hijacked truckload of whiskey. When they arrived, they were met by a group of men dressed as police officers. Thinking they were about to be arrested, 7 men did not protest. Then, 2 or 3 men in plainclothes walked in. They pulled Tommy guns out from under their coats, pointed them at the men lined up against the brick wall, and opened fire.
This is a Wednesday afternoon late, and the museum is still filled with people. Every one of the areas in this museum is filled with exhibits and is very colorful. And we even have firearms. We are on the 2nd floor now of the museum, and I think this is where we see more about law enforcement rather than the criminals. Former Mayor Oscar Goodman has his say about on videos about his right, everybody's right to a defense. And they even show some old video movies of him arguing with someone who says, "Don't you care that so-and-so killed 22 men?" And he said, "It's irrelevant to me." Anyway, now we're moving on to information about Las Vegas. Oh, this is great. This is the implosion of the various casinos. You must come down yourself to see these exhibits. I'm sure my videos do not do them justice. Wonderful memorabilia from Las Vegas. This is the skim room, and it is filled with, I'm sure, copies of money. They even show movies with clips from the movie Casino. Now part of the exhibit focuses on Howard Hughes and Robert Mayhew. Floor 1 is called Bringing Down the Mob, or Have We Beaten the Mob? There's a huge display as we enter the first floor. These are the McClellan hearings with Robert Kennedy. An illustration of all of the groups that work together to bring down the mob. One of the great things about this museum are quotes that one can't forget. Don't ever say anything you don't want played back to you someday. This is probably true of your Facebook account and your Twitter feeds. And here we have part of an exhibit that focuses on wiretapping. This is a whole wall devoted to those mobsters who retired. Where do old mobsters go? We even have a room devoted to movie stars who played bad guys.
Silent films often told tales of criminals and gangsters. Every decade has brought new talents, new characters, and new stories to the mob movie genre. And nobody knows mob movies better than Nick Pileggi, co-writer with Martin Scorsese of Goodfellas and Casino, and executive producer of American Gangster.
People like movies about the mob because they're life writ large.
We're on our way out of the museum, and I guess our farewell is to Al Capone. This is quite the museum and requires a return visit.